Hi, guys. So, I believe it is just me. Oh, no, it's me, Andrew. Hello, Mr. Drew. Good to see you. Look at my upper chin. That's stunning. So, hope everyone has been having a great week. It is a little bit chillier today than it's been in the last couple days, but so I got the sweater on. But we're doing good. We have a Sammy here leaned up against me, purring away, ready for the evening. So, we're going back to my how would you plan themed what do you call this? A series. How would you plan a series? How would I plan a trip for a group of people? Now, I'm basing this on what is currently available, realizing that things are opening this summer, things are opening in the fall, things are opening next year. This is 2019 in early May, and everything could and should and will, hello, Sammy, change significantly. So this is based, hello, yes, this is based on that. So we're going to talk about how I would plan a trip for a family with kids. I'm going to say kids around 6 to 8 years old. You may simplify it for younger kids. You may ramp up the intensity for older kids, but that's what we're going to try giving you sort of a baseline for. Now, I will caveat this saying that I have never traveled with kids. I have traveled when I was a kid at age 7. That was the first time I went to Disney. So I'm using at least a little bit of my remembrance of things I did or didn't like and how I enjoyed stuff. Yes, beautiful. So we're going to follow the same plan. We're going to arrive as early as possible on the first day. We're going to leave within some no, you cannot rub that. With some differences as late as possible on the last day. Now, when you're dealing with kids, as early as possible and as late as possible are going to change. Now, I'm going to say with kids, going to Disney World, even especially if it's a first time, they're going to be up and energized and probably not sleep the night before. So excited to get there. So, assuming that we're doing what we've done before, which is coming out of the Baltimore area, because that's what I know, you're looking at a 2.5-hour flight without flight changes if you can manage it. That makes things a whole lot easier. And I'm going to say that we are doing, I'll be honest, for this trip, we're not going to Universal. You could, but then you're going to miss out on stuff that I think the kids will get and enjoy at Disney. And when you're talking about those younger ages, it's not as good. There's too many rides they have to wait on. There are little bits and pieces they could enjoy. But at that age, you're going to be doing a lot of rider switching and not really participating in the experience for them. So my recommendation is, if it's the first time, is just to do the one set of parks. If there's a reason they really love Harry Potter, or they really like rough rides and they're tall enough to hit the different ride minimums, then yeah, you could switch out a Universal day and get a park to park for one of these days. I just don't see it for your first one on. That could change, but that's kind of where I would recommend. So we're going to start you getting in. I'm going to say you'd still probably be able to do a 6 o'clock flight in the morning. It means you're going to be dragging to get them on the plane. But once you get them on the plane, hopefully they can go to sleep. Ooh, you're playing with fire. Depends on whether they read Harry Potter, even the early ones. But each one's called. Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, at ages 6 to 8, they may not have read the books yet. That's a little bit earlier. If you get to about 10, absolutely, yes, you can throw in Universal. If you're talking about 5 and 4, the Seuss area would work. There might be some other things they'd enjoy, but there's so many height restrictions, and there's so much. I just see it being a harder thing to do. I am traveling this year with, I believe she's an 11-year-old. So with that in mind, with an 11-year-old, you absolutely can go to Universal, especially because she likes roller coasters. That means that she's tall enough, she's game enough that, yeah, there's going to be a lot of that kind of activity. And we're actually going to be doing more Universal time than Disney time for that particular trip, just because that's the energy and that's the stuff that they're looking to do. And that works fine. You know, we can make that happen. Thank you very much. I am brilliant enough. Well, I didn't say it. He did. Mr. Drew said it. So, first day, Magic Kingdom, is because first day, Disney trip, especially first time. So, oh, thank you. Thank you. I know it's going to work really well. So we're going to start with assuming that you can get that 6 a.m. flight with kids. If you can't get it, that's going to be, you'll have to adjust and suss this out based on that. But that means if you're going from the Baltimore area, it's a 2.5-hour flight. You land at about 8:30. You're going to need to get your bags. Now, if you're staying on Disney property, you could do the Magical Express, and you can just get your kids to the Magical Express stop. And that will probably be a lovely sanity thing for you. If you're not going to stay on property, if you're going to do the car rental thing, then I'm going to recommend that one person goes, gets the bags, the other person goes and waits with the kids. The other person goes and starts to get the car rental set up, just to save time so your kids aren't having to stand in the airport for a whole long time. So you get out of there. If you are going to Magical Express, it's about an hour to an hour and a half to get to your resort, depending on where you want to stay. If you are staying off property, it's a half an hour to get your luggage. It's a half an hour to get the car, and that's at good, really kind of at a clip. So you are looking at being in the airport when you land at 8:30 till at least 9:30. It takes about a half an hour to drive toward the parks or toward most of the hotels near the parks from the airport. So you're talking about being wherever you're going to check your stuff in at 10 o'clock. If you are at a Disney property, like I said, you leave the bags, you just go and you can go into the parks and you can start doing stuff. But if you're talking about adults, if you're talking about off property, then you would be able to leave the bags there, but they won't be able to do anything with them. So if you don't have anything meltable and you get a big enough vehicle, you could potentially leave your luggage in the car, throw something over it, and go directly to the parks and save yourself that kind of time. I'm not sure that's going to be your best option with kids. I think you want to be able to have some kind of semblance of things are in spots, but that's okay. That your family better. So if you're staying on Disney property, my recommendation is when you get to your resort, you go and do your initial check-in and tie a credit card, make sure your magic bands work. If you're doing a dining plan, you connect that. And then I'm going to recommend that rather than rushing immediately to parks, because at this point you've been running around, it's been an early morning, and you're now at about 10:30, and you probably haven't eaten much other than snacks you might have brought yourself, you're going to want to kind of do things a little okay. So I'm going to recommend you head over to Disney Springs. Disney Springs has tons of different food options. You could look at fast food. They've got Blaze Pizza. They've got Deluxe Burger. They've got, what other ones did I put down here? I did not specify. Oh, Chicken Guy. That was the other one I was thinking of. Because chicken tenders, chicken nuggets, and fries work great. There's a Coca-Cola store there. You could go and meet the Coca-Cola bear while you're wandering around, and they do all kinds of different flavors of Coca-Cola products at the top floor. There are candy shops. You can get Dole Whip there. There are a whole bunch of different kind of laid back options where you can kind of kill some time waiting for your room and not just be sitting there. Now, if your kids are all about the pool and, oh my God, I got to do the pool, then when you get on the plane, have a carry-on with your bathing suits, and you could change there. And then when you check into your hotel, you could start using them, even if the rest of your luggage hasn't arrived yet. So you've got that as an option as well. But I'm going to say at that point, you need food. Now, my understanding, not having had kids, you all can tell me if this sounds right, is that you're usually looking at needing having a meltdown somewhere between 1 and 4 o'clock, where that's the time where it's like, now we're going to chill because too much energy, too excited, too much overdrive. You need to stop for a little bit. So most of the days I've kind of broken up here, I've kind of done that. So this from about 10:30 till about 2, I'm figuring some time at Disney Springs, shopping, eating, looking around at stuff, getting some ideas. There's a movie theater there. There's the big balloon there. If you want to go crazy, you could do the Void, which is that interactive game. Besides the Star Wars one that I have done before, they do a Wreck-It Ralph version, which can be a 4-person player game where you're kind of doing an arcade thing, and kids could probably enjoy that too. Then you head back to your hotel, and hopefully you'll have been buzzed and been told that your room is ready. And if that is the case, then you can go and check your bags, and your bags actually should be in your room, and you can go in, kind of suss your stuff out and relax a little bit, and then relax until about 4 and have that as downtime so the kids could nap or things could happen. They won't melt down as early. The Lego store is there. Thank you. Yes. And a Mr. there was a Mr. Potato Head store. I missed that one, where kids can play for free. So yeah, absolutely. They are meant to be hands-on. There's a World of Disney store, but they're going to make you try to buy stuff. But there's all kinds of fun things that you can do and walking around. There's a pin trading there. If your kids are into pin trading, or you want to start a pin trading, you can get a lanyard and get a starter set of pins. I don't know what happened there. Okay. So yeah, so tons of options. So I'm going to say, after Disney Springs and after chilling there, that it's a good time to introduce them to Hidden Mickeys as well. Yeah, there'll be some at Disney Springs. You're right, and there'll be books too about it where you can talk about it in advance. But I'm going to say at about 4 o'clock we're going to head over to Magic Kingdom, because we're 10 minutes in, we haven't even gone to a park yet. For that first day, I am going to recommend that we try to fast pass something that would be a kind of fun traditional ride. And I'm going to recommend to start with Buzz Lightyear. And Buzz Lightyear is a shoot 'em up, so the space rangery type people will like that. And it's a game, so I think everyone can be involved in there too. There's a build your own lightsaber store. There is a Star Wars store over there, and it probably has that, although I would almost recommend that more over at Hollywood Studios, although that's, again, all up in the air until Galaxy's Edge opens. But I'm going to say we go to Buzz Lightyear. We get into Buzz Lightyear and do that as a fast pass, so that you already have it preset that you're going to be able to go in, and you should be in and out in about half an hour to 45 minutes. Now, I am leaving a lot of open leeway time, because I realize getting kids and forgetting things and reorganizing things, it's a slightly different dynamic than when you're rushing through with adults. So I'm trying to account for that there. There are some things where I still say you could still do both of these items in this amount of time. But I'm definitely leaving you some leeway so that you're not overrushed. From there, I am going to recommend that your Buzz Lightyear, and I have basically from 4 to 6 p.m. just doing the one fast pass on Buzz Lightyear, because there's going to be a lot of taking in time. There's going to be a lot of walking down Main Street and seeing the castle, maybe walking into the castle, seeing the partner statue, which I will not call what I normally call, because we're family friendly now. But just kind of absorbing the energy, absorbing the people, absorbing what that's all about. So I'm going to say at that point, just one ride, and then 6 o'clock, you're going to have a dinner reservation. And I'm going to recommend, for a good basic palate, is the Liberty Tree Tavern. Liberty Tree Tavern at lunch has a good variety of different foods, but at dinner, it's Thanksgiving dinner every year. So it's turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes. I think they have mac and cheese if you ask for it. They have cranberry sauce if you ask for it. I think green beans. But it's a family style dinner where you can all kind of serve off the same plate, and you can really just enjoy your experience. And I'm going to give you about an hour and a half for dinner. Actually, I blocked in about 2 hours just to be safe, because you never know what's going to happen. You don't want to worry about trying to rush to pay a bill and run off to something else. So I try to block that amount of time if it's a sit-down dinner, and this one is. From there, I have 2 more fast passes. Now, I'm going to recommend that you actually book your next fast pass starting at 7:30. So even if you're done at 8 o'clock for dinner, you still have that second half hour to get to your fast pass. And I'm going to say, because Liberty Tree Tavern is over in the Liberty Square area, that we're going to walk you down to Pirates of the Caribbean for your next fast pass. And I'll explain why I'm not doing Haunted Mansion yet. And then after that one, I'm going to have you do a Jungle Cruise fast pass, which will take you up to about 9 o'clock to the fireworks. All right. So Drew says, Hollywood Studios. We haven't even gotten to Hollywood Studios yet. Wait, slow down. Yes, they're there. Stop. Day 1 of 7. Pout. Okay. So I'm going to say we fast pass after we do Pirates, we do Jungle Cruise, and you should, because you're fast passing Jungle Cruise, be able to be done by about 9, and that's when the fireworks happen. Now, I don't know if your family wants to be front and center and watch the fireworks in the middle of the crowd. You could be. Or if you want to watch the fireworks from behind, where it's less crowded. But what I'm recommending, because the fireworks, they vary between 9 and 9:30, but basically either right before or right after them, try to be toward the upper end, and afterwards go on either the carousel or Winnie the Pooh or something in Fantasyland, something that's kind of light and fluffy in that part of the world. And if you have some leeway time, you can always go there too. But I'm going to recommend, if you can wait till after the fireworks to do it, you will have a lot less crowd. You also don't, well, because just about everyone's going to want to go home after the fireworks. And you'll have to suss it out with your kids, how tired they are, because it's going to, if you try to leave right after the fireworks, it's still going to take you about an hour to get back to your hotel. It may take less, but you are fighting with the crowd. You are all salmon swimming upstream. If you're staying on property, you're going to your bus or your boat. If you're staying off property, you got to get on the monorail to the transportation and ticket center. It takes time. And if your kids are melting down and getting more and more tired, it takes time. Now, the person I was speaking with earlier highly recommended that you book that you bring a stroller. Now, remember, there are new stroller rules started just at the beginning of this month. There are certain sizes that are allowed, etc. Now, me personally, especially if you're talking a 6 to 8 year old, I would not do a stroller. I walked at 7 years old. I did. You know, they didn't do those things back then. We just didn't have them. So it's up to you whether or not that works for you. It will make you more easily able to kind of get through the space. But by the same token, if child gets tired, you end up carrying them. So that you got to make your decisions for yourself. But I'm going to say at about 9 o'clock, you do the fireworks. If you can get one more quick ride in and let a little of that crowd rush out, and because all you'd be doing is standing in line and standing in buses anyway, and you wouldn't really be getting back anywhere. So if you just give yourself a few more minutes or take a little more time walking out the shops on Main Street before you leave, then I would say, yeah, go home, be in bed, and by 10, unpack, do your things that you need to do, and kind of move on. Because the next morning we're going to do a little bit early, not as early as a 6 a.m. flight, but we're going to try to get you up a little early. So what I'm looking at is we're going to start you off at Animal Kingdom. Sorry, park hopping in my head. Yes, I know. So we're going to start at Animal Kingdom in the morning. And I'm going to recommend we do an early breakfast buffet. And it's a character breakfast buffet at Tusker House. Now, they will have a couple more unusual foods there, but this is going to really be basic breakfast food, traditional breakfast food. But you will get to meet Mickey and Goofy. Mickey and Goofy and Donald and Daisy and possibly Minnie. I know the other four are there in safari gear. And you'll have the buffet. And they walk around to different sections. Now, the only caveat to this is you do want to keep your eyes open and possibly have one adult go to the buffet and get stuff for the others while you sit at the table so that you don't miss the chance of some of the characters coming through. Or you can always ask your server about how much time do you have before the characters are coming back to your area so that you have the time to know if you go and get food at the buffet that you're not going to totally miss them, which would really be sad, especially because the kids will probably want to meet them. So the reason we're doing an 8 a.m. breakfast is the park would usually not open till 9. Whatever the time the park opens, try to get breakfast earlier than that, because what you're going to do is you're going to be in there and you're going to be all the way back at Africa before the park opens. What that means is that at park opening, because a buffet breakfast, you're going up and you're getting your own things. And yeah, if you leisurely take your time, it still might be 2 hours, but you're probably going to be done faster than that. And then when everything opens, you are already at the back of the park. And that means, and I had two options on this. With kids, I think I'm still going to go with the direction I originally had. The first thing we're going to go to is the safari. First thing in the morning, the animals are getting fed. They've all come out. They're all woken up. There's a lot more activity there. It's not too hot out in the safari. The only other caveat to this is if you're definitely expecting rain at some point in the day and you know you're going to stay later, you might even want to wait and do it during the rain because it's wonderful doing the rain. Absolutely wonderful to do the safari in the rain because the animals love it. They come out and play. After the safari, and it's about a half an hour safari ride, but after the safari, then I'm going to say, because you're in the right area, it should be about 10 o'clock, and you can get in line and do the first Lion King show. And that has acrobats, and it's got some aerialists, and it's got sing-along, and everyone gets involved, and you get to be, your section of the audience could be the giraffe or the lion, or, so you have all kinds of cheers and fun things you can do, and the characters from the movie, and it's a lot of fun. Excuse me. Pardon me, I guess I'm not breathing enough. So I'm going to say that the other thing about it is that means you get a little sit down time. They get to enjoy something. It's air conditioned, so you're not constantly out and running around. Because the Animal Kingdom is a little bit warmer than all the other parks. It supposedly was designed that way. After that, we're going to wander down to Pandora, and hopefully you have been able to get a fast pass for Navi River Journey. Now, if you have kids who can handle rougher rides, then you could potentially get a fast pass for Flights of Passage. But my thought at this age is that you're not going to be doing a whole lot of roller coasters. You're not going to be doing a whole lot of rough rides. But if your kids are the right height and they're willing to try it, then instead of Navi River Journey, if you can book that fast pass for a Flights of Passage, do it. By the same token, if you're in at Tusker House and they really want to do Flights of Passage and you can't get the fast pass, then at that rope drop, come from the opposite direction and get in there as fast as you can. And then maybe the line won't be too bad for you. And then instead of the safari, then you might do a safari a little bit later in the day, but fast pass that one if you can't do the other. After Navi River Journey, you are in Pandora, so I'm going to recommend a quick service lunch. Quick service lunches, I think, are generally going to be better with kids because then you can pick and choose. You're not in a formal sit-down kind of area. Sometimes the food's brought to you, sometimes you go to it. The Satu'li Canteen allows you, it's sort of kind of like a Chipotle, but not Mexican, where you pick a base, you pick a protein, you pick a sauce. They also have little cheeseburger pods, they call them. They're like bao, but they're filled with cheeseburger type filling and a couple other things that are kid friendly. The other thing that's good about there has mobile ordering. So you can get on your phone, figure out what everyone wants, plug it all into your phone, and then walk up to that area of the park. And when you get there, go, I'm here, hit the button, and they make your food. So you're not waiting forever. The other thing that is really good about the other option I would recommend for something like that would probably be Flame Tree Barbecue. If you like barbecue type food, you go up, you can pre-order, and then one part of your family finds a table while the other one does the mobile order pickup. So you're sort of, getting both sides taken care of. After lunch, then it's about 1:30 is my guess, and I'm going to say it's quietish time. So things we can do. There are a couple animal nature walks that you can go through where you can see tigers and you can see all kinds of neat stuff there. There's Conservation Station, which right now is closed, but it is reopening this summer. I don't think it's going to be reopened when I get back there, which I'm very bummed about, but it will be reopening this summer. And that's a train ride into a building. There's a petting zoo out there. There's a inside building where you can see where they take care of the animals. And actually, now that I'm thinking of it, if it's still there, the sounds of the rainforest rooms would be great for kids to take a nap, where you put a headset on and you just listen to a rainforest for like 10 minutes in the dark. But this is kind of a place where it can be a little bit quieter for you, and you can kind of chill, and you're out of the bustle of the main part of the park. And if it's not too hot, you can be outside, and if it is hot, you can go inside. Now, they may have totally redone that area when we get back, when they reopen it, but there are some definite options there. So after you do that and you have your quiet time, then at this point, I'm going to say, unless the kids are still rip roaring to go and they don't need a break, if that little bit of quiet time is enough, then you can hit another park. If they're still in meltdown mode and you need that quiet time, then either stay here, because it'll be a little quieter out here at Animal Kingdom. Go to your resort and do some pool time. Or like I said, you can go to the next park. The next park I'm recommending is going to be starting at around 4 o'clock. We're going to head over to Hollywood Studios, Drew. That's where we're going to see at about 4 o'clock. We're going to see if we can get you into the Beauty and the Beast show, for those who are of the fairy tale musical type things. And I'm, again, with kids, I don't know if you have kids who are more rough and ready and fighting, or if you want the music stuff. So yes, we're heading over. We'll do the Beauty and the Beast show, which is a sit down. Or if they're more like science fiction-y oriented, then we're going to, instead of the Beauty and the Beast show, I'm going to say, let's head over and do the meet and greets with either Chewbacca or BB-8, and do the walkthrough area of the Star Wars area, the Star Wars area now, the current one, not the Galaxy's Edge one, because that's not open yet. Once you've done that, then I'm going to see if you try to book your first fast pass, and I'm saying at about 4:30 to 5 o'clock, try to book Slinky Dog Dash, if you can. If you can't, try to book any of the other Toy Story rides and just see what options you have. And then it's hoped that After that, then you can hit one of the other rides. There's three there. There's the Alien Swirling Saucers, which would be great for kids. The Midway Mania, which is a shoot 'em up like an arcade game, also fun for kids. And then the roller coaster. And this is a very family-friendly roller coaster. If they are afraid of roller coasters, just do the other two rides. But if they are gung-ho to try a coaster, this is a very calm, simple, fun roller coaster ride. Nothing to really worry about stress-wise. Goodness gracious, I don't know why I'm yawning so much. After that, then we're going to head over to 6:30. All right, so because you've had that the lunch around noonish, and you might need a snack break in here, and I realize that. But then we're going to do, if you are so inclined, there is a fun Little Mermaid show. Again, it gets you inside, out of the heat, and it is a fun sit-down show. If the kids get tired, they may fall asleep in it. If they're still up and rolling, they'll be able to enjoy it. It's got puppets and live actors doing that show. It's kind of fun. Then we're going to go to dinner. Wow, I am so sorry. Okay, so 7 o'clock, we're going to go to the Sci-Fi Diner. And the Sci-Fi Diner is burgers and fries and sandwiches and shakes, but you're sitting in what looks like a drive-in movie theater car, and you're watching old sci-fi black and white movies. Now, if for any reason you think your kid might get freaked out or scared by the movies that are there, then instead, I'm going to recommend the 50s Primetime Cafe. The 50s Primetime Cafe is as if you were eating in your mom's kitchen and your cousins are your servers, and they're going to pick on you and they're going to make fun of you. And actually, I was watching some video of someone who actually went, and they started saying, no walkie-talkies at the table. This is your walkie-talkie, and this is time to talk with your family. Put your stuff away, which I thought was very funny. It was a very clever way of dealing with it. But it's as if you're in the 50s and you're in your mom's kitchen. If you go to the bathroom, make sure you look at the soap and you know what color the soap is, because they will ask you. Just saying. I've been warned. So dinner, again, is 7 o'clock. We're guessing it'll be about an hour and a half for dinner, maybe to 2 hours. And I'm going to say, if you want to do a sit-down show and you don't want to be running, then your next thing I would say is get in line for Fantasmic. And if you can book a Fast Pass at that point, because you can't book it early in the day, you'd have to book it late after the fact. If you can book it, go ahead and book a Fast Pass for that so you can get a slightly better view. Or you can try to book a package where, and this would be done in advance, where you go to one of those restaurants like Sci-Fi, like 50s Primetime. I know Hollywood Brown Derby opens it. I'm not sure if all the other restaurants open it, actually, where it's a package of dinner at a restaurant plus better seating for the Fantasmic show. And the Fantasmic show is their nighttime spectacular, and it's fireworks and Mickey's in there, Maleficent's in there. I will admit I do prefer it over at Disneyland than Disney World. I've seen both, and I just like the atmosphere of the Disneyland one. But if they've never seen it, this would be a real exciting, fun show. That's going to take an hour to an hour and a half of getting in line, waiting, sitting down, waiting, watching the show, and then slowly being herded out like cattle. And if you do it, it's fun. But realize that very likely you're talking about it. Most of the rest of your evening is done by then. Now, after that, then you can head back to the center area and see if you can catch any of the Star Wars fireworks, because they are tremendous. Now, if your person is not into wanting to see Mickey and Minnie, doesn't want to sit down and do the show, then in that time you can go back to Toy Story Land, because the rides at night are lovely. See if you can get on the ride you missed, whichever of those three. You can, if they're tall enough, if they like roller coastery things, you can look at the free fall ride, Tower of Terror. You can look at Rock and Roller Coaster. I personally wouldn't go on those, but if your kids are brave enough or it's rough and tough enough and one of you can go with them, then yeah, you could go ahead and try that. Star Tours is another one. It's a simulator ride, and they should be okay at that point to do that. The Indiana Jones show will be over by then, so you wouldn't be able to see anything. But so most of those others are options of things you could do. Or that was the other thing, is instead of the Little Mermaid show, if you don't want to do that, then I would recommend the Frozen sing-along, Frozen Ever After, where you get to go sing along. If your kids love the movie, they get to sing along, and there are two really fun actors doing silly stuff in front of it and talking to you and telling you the story of the movie. So you've got a variety of kind of things to flex around based on the interests of your particular kids and you guys. Day 3, and I switched these around because originally I was putting Epcot next, but I didn't. I switched it back, and I'm going to put us back at Magic Kingdom. So we're going to say this morning you're going to go a little bit later. You can do breakfast at the hotel. Go to your quick service if you're staying on property. Go to, there are Paneras and things as you're driving up, or get there early and go to a place. Hello, Betty Crocker. I am not. I'm terribly sorry. But we'll see how that we would do the breakfast there, and then after breakfast head over, and if it's a warm enough day, I'm going to say that we start with the Magic Kingdom. Okay, give me a second, guys. So after we do the Splash Mountain, because I figure we get wet in the morning if we're going to get wet, and then we just kind of go from there. Then we're going to head over and do the Aladdin ride, and that's like Dumbo, but it is it's got 4 people spots rather than 2 people spots, so you can all be in the same car, and the front goes up and down, and the back, I think, does a tilt on it, so you can have more flexibility of how you play along with that. So I'm going to recommend that you try those. Then we're going to go to the Tiki Room, because the animatronics are really cool, and if they're young enough kids and they're kind of wide-eyed, the music and the all the little tropical stuff going on is fun. And while you're there, you can get a Dole Whip, because Dole Whip is everything. This is going to be a lot more eating today. After we leave the Tiki Room, then I'm going to say we're going to do a different quick service. Yeah, I know. We're going to do a different quick service. We're going to do Casey's Corner, and that's hot dogs and fries and things like that. Now, if your kids are more creative eaters and you don't want to do something like that, you could do Jungle Skipper Canteen, and I highly recommend that food. But I'm guessing you want to do a little more inexpensive, a little more quick service, and you can adjust as you see fit. After Casey's Corner, we're going to make fast passes for, is that what I did? Yeah. Then the next fast pass is going to be for Monsters, Inc. And this is a fun kind of sit-down show. If your kids know any really fun jokes, you can text them, and they might get read during the show. They're obviously clean, silly, fun jokes. And if not, then you just can enjoy it. And it's stand-up comedians, and they reference people in the audience, and they talk to people in the audience. And it's a lot of fun for both kids and adults. After that, then we're going to go on my personal favorite, and that's the People Mover. Now, if you want quiet downtime that's going to take a little longer and is a little more really, truly, you could take a nap for 20 minutes, then I'm going to say go ahead and do the Carousel of Progress, simply because that is not rolling and running around to different things. It's sitting down in a theater that kind of circles to different time periods, and you learn about what life living back then was like. I'm waiting for them to updo it again, but they've got, like, I believe it's the turn of the century, the 40s. No, the turn of the century, the 20s and the 40s, and then the 80s, which were 90s. So they might even try to update that even more. But I'm going to say one or the other of those. They're sit down, they're relaxing a little bit. You're not running for a little while. You can enjoy the show and be in the quiet and the cool for a little bit, because we're starting to get a little around 1 o'clock. And this is that you need to kind of gauge if you need to do downtime right now. The other possible recommendation, and then if you're still going, then the next thing I would recommend that you try to do, and this one you would want to fast pass if you do want to do it, is to head to the back of Fantasyland and try to go see Enchanted Tales with Belle. Now, this is if you have someone who is interested in the princesses. And Enchanted Tales with Belle, they reenact the story to help Belle remember what was so wonderful about when she and Beast met. And some of the kids get to play characters, and they get to hold up little, like, Lumiere things, or 2 adults get to be guards and stuff. And it's very fun. It's very playful. But it's definitely a chance for the kids to meet the princess and to have those moments. So if that is the case, then yeah, I would say go ahead and do that. When that's done, you're headed back to your hotel and you go into the pool. If it's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, if this is your meltdown time, you're heading back to your hotel, and you're going to go to your pool, and you're going to hang out in your room, and you're going to take a nap if you need to, but you're going for quiet time. Then you have 2 options for this evening. If You're okay with Peter Pan is later. We're on day 3. So this evening you have a choice. They no longer, I found out looking at their site, have the kids activity areas where a bunch of kids go to one area and all play together and hang out and they watch them in a group. They now have a place where you can call and you can have babysitting in your room. So, and they will all, you can also hire one of these people to come around and help you walk around in the parks with you. It is $18 an hour for one kid. I think it's $3 more per kid. Then I require you forward your notes to me pre-show in the future. I understand that you're excited, but I have more to do. It's so much more to do. And I was still working on these up until when we opened, and I'm not typing them on a computer to you. You have to be here then. But you can't be, so oh well. So going back to the actual Plan O thing. So if you want to do the babysitter, then your options are to are your high octane night or your adults night. And this means if your kids can't do coasters and you really want to do the coasters, this is the night that you guys plan to go hit those coasters. Go hit Space Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, Splash Mountain. Well, if you didn't do Splash Mountain, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Rock and Roller Coaster, a Tower of Terror if they don't want to do that. There were more. Test Track if they're afraid of that, although I think they'd be okay with it. But any of those rides that they're not tall enough for, they're afraid of, or maybe you want to do an adults only evening at Universal and go on some crazy roller coasters. That's one option. The other option is if you don't want to do the babysitter and you still want to spend time and do stuff with the family, but you don't necessarily want to be in the parks because I think you kind of need some downtime here. I am going to recommend going to see the Hoop-Dee-Doo Musical Review or the Luau at the Polynesian. And these are food and entertainment venues. The Hoop-Dee-Doo Musical Review has been doing the same show since they started, and it is the longest running show in existence. And I believe they started it in the 60s, or I guess 71 is when it opened. I don't know if they were doing it over at Disneyland, but it is the same damn show from when it opened. It's been going for years. And it's a lot of fun. I've seen clips from it from different people, and they bring people out of the audience to do all kinds of silly stuff. Or you could go over to Fort Wilderness, and they'll often show movies and have a s'mores party, and you can buy a little kit of stuff to make s'mores, and you guys hang out by the campfire, watch a movie, and make s'mores with Chip and Dale. So you've got these kind of like low key, or like I said, the luau where it's the dinner and you get to watch the show with the poi and the fire and all all that kind of stuff. So you've got all of those assorted options for you. So it could be a family night or it could be adults only night. But whatever it is, you're probably going to be done around 9-10 o'clock. If it's with the kids, and could be 11 o'clock or even midnight if it's just the adults going out and doing some fun stuff. Because you could also, if the parks are closing at 9-10 o'clock and you're done with the parks, you could go to Disney Springs, and they've got some wonderful adult entertainment after 10 p.m. Or you could go and do some fancier dinner. Maybe you could do a Victoria and Albert's dinner where it's a 4-hour event and it's just the two of you, because they will not let kids under 12 years old into Victoria and Albert's. It is strictly an adults only experience, and I don't think you'd want to spend the money on someone that's young enough not to appreciate the wide variety of the nuances of the food. I mean, you may, but you can't do it till they're 12. Go to Citricos, go to Narcoosseous. Those are equally yummy. Just not 8 or 10 courses. So we're now back to day 4, and this is our break day. So you've gone out, you've done a later night, you've done some extra exciting fun stuff. You're going to sleep in. You're going to hit the pool. You're going to do quick service and meals at your hotel, or you can resort hop if you feel like it, or go to Disney Springs again and kind of hang out. They've got a movie theater there if you want to go and see a movie with everybody where you're sitting in the AC and relaxing. But this is a day where you are not hitting a park. They have mini golf if you want to go find mini golf. They have bowling over at Splitsville at Disney Springs. So there are all these kinds of fun, casual activities that you don't need to plan within an inch of their life. And it's day 4 out of 7 days. it's your stop day. It's your chill day, because otherwise you're all going to get sick, because it happens. Day 5. We are going to start you out early because you had this last day off, as it were. So we're going to start you early, and we're going to head over to the Crystal Palace before the park opens, and that's at Magic Kingdom. And this is a breakfast buffet, and this is with Mickey and Minnie. Do I do one more of these? Let me see something. Yeah, I did a bunch of those. Yeah, breakfast with characters seem to be the way I have been planning a lot of this stuff. So Crystal Palace is known for Winnie the Pooh and Eeyore and Piglet and Tigger, and there might be a face character there, but I don't. No, it's just them. And it's a standard breakfast buffet. Again, nothing unusual food-wise, but you get to meet a different set of characters. Also, by going before the park opens, then you're there in the heart of things, not worrying about trying to get past everybody when everything opens up. And this one, we're going to see if we can get you to walk onto Seven Dwarfs Mine Train first thing in the morning. And this is if your kids can handle the roller coasters. If they can't, then, we'll switch out to something else. But I'm going to say start with that, because that's the one the line gets crazy. And even if you rush on at that very beginning in the extra magic type time, you're looking at it being about, it's still taking you half an hour to get through the line. So it's not ungodly, but it's better than the 2 to 3 hours it is later in the day. So you do that. Then I'm going to say head back to the back corner of the park in Fantasyland and either do Dumbo or do Under the Sea if you're more princess oriented. Traditional dark ride, very nice. You can enjoy that. Then you're going to come back out and you're going to start to head more into the main area of Fantasyland. And over there, I'm going to recommend that we see. Did we do the Hollywood? You know what? We did miss the Muppets on the Hollywood Studios Day. And I think instead of some of the Star Tours type stuff or the sci-fi or the Little Mermaid, again, it depends on what their particular interests are. But that might be a nice way to finish it out, especially if you don't do Fantasmic. Muppets are good. We like Muppets. Especially because I think they still know who those characters are. All right, so Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Dumbo or Under the Sea. Then we're going to head to the center in Fantasyland. We're going to do Small World. Where do I put? Hold on, I just want to check something. Where's 5, 7? Oh yeah, I did them on the last day. Okay, you're going to do. If you have the fast passes for it, because at this point, actually, you know what? At this point, yeah, you could fast Peter Pan on this day and do Small World, do Haunted Mansion. Now, you'll notice I waited to do Haunted Mansion. I didn't do it on the first day because we were in Magic Kingdom in the dark. If you are going with kids, Haunted Mansion during the day. I went as a child. I was terrified because it was scary, and I was age 7. I had nightmares for a while, yeah. But if you do it at night, they come out and they're still within the ride. If you do it during the day, when they come out, they're no longer in the ride. They're now back in daylight, and you can get them into something brighter and lighter and happy. So when you come out of the Haunted Mansion, depending on the time of day it is, over by Liberty Square, you're going to see them doing Muppets, doing Great Moments of History, but just the American parts. It's a wonderful, fun series of shows they do, and you can sit on the street and watch Piggy and Kermit and all of them do silly, fun stuff, and Sam the Eagle. After you do that, you are still in Liberty Square, and we're going to go to Columbia Harbor House for lunch. And you will be able to get chicken pot pie or fish sandwiches, or I think they do like some shrimp stuff. It's kind of seafoody because you're supposedly in Boston, but it's a lot of fun. It's an enjoyable place, and it's one of the quick services that's recommended a lot. And again, you can mobile order in advance and get the stuff waiting for you. After you finish the Columbia Harbor House, if you're still energized and going, then I'm going to say go ahead and hit a couple more rides, do whatever you want to do, or if they want pool time, head back to your pool. And then this night we're going to do another adults only night. If you didn't do an adults only before, you're definitely doing it here, or you're switching out with the other one. And this is getting dressed up and going to dinner, or going to a show for yourself, or Universal, etc. So whatever you did on the third night, you can do that again. You could do a babysitter and something different, or you can do something with the family. But this is another one of those, you get to choose for as an adult what you want to have done. And this is your time to pick something. And that's how we're going to finish out that day. I really do recommend some of the signature restaurants. They are extraordinary, and yeah, they're really good. It's a little too late in the day now, potentially, You could do something where you get the babysitter, like if you finish in the park at 1 or 2 o'clock, you could have the babysitter come to the room at 2 o'clock and be with them for their pool time, etc. And then you could go to the spa over at Saratoga Springs or at Grand Floridian and get a spa treatment. How's that for a concept? All right, so that is the end of day 5. Day 6, we're going to head over to Epcot. We are again going to try to go a little bit in advance of opening. And if you know your kids just don't move this early, then again, adjust the schedule. But if you've got kids that are really excited to be there, this is day 6, but it's a new park. You're going to get them before rope drop. We're going to go at 8 o'clock breakfast. And 8 o'clock, we're going to go to the Garden Grill. Now, out of all of these breakfasts that I've mentioned, this is probably the one that I'm more interested, especially if you're going with the group, because the Garden Grill is over the Living with the Land Pavilion. So you get to go into the Land Pavilion where Soarin' is on the mid-level. And you get to have, they bring out skillets of food. It is family style eating, which means you don't have to worry about going to the buffet. The food comes to you and they just will refill the skillet as you want, which means when the characters come to say hi, you're not going to miss them. Now, if you decide you don't want to do, let me see what I did here. Oh, I see what I did. Okay, so yeah, so we're going to do that nice kind of sit-down breakfast there, and it's, you know, your bacon, eggs, waffles, all kinds of fun stuff. You will meet Mickey in his farmer outfit, and you will meet Chip and Dale. And because of the nature of this restaurant, they come and visit you more than once. A lot of the other places, you get them once. You get each character maybe once, and that's it. This time, they come to your table like 3 or 4 times. They hang out. They're silly. They're fun. They really enjoy playing with you, so it is definitely worthwhile. After you finish with, there we go, with there, you're in Living with the Land, in the Land Pavilion. So you're just going to go before rope drop and head downstairs and get onto Soarin' when the line is short or when the line is just starting. And Soarin' is as long as they fit the height, there are things to help them with the heights on that. And it is absolutely wonderful, and I highly recommend it. It's like there's hang gliding all over the world. Try to sit in the center section if you can. And if you don't care, that's fine. Hello, third person who joined and left. After you're done with that, then you're going to head over to Living with the Land, which is you exit 1, you go right into the next one. The line won't really be much of anything at that point. And you go in and you can see some of the food you just ate at breakfast is grown in that pavilion right there, in that Living with the Land ride. So you can learn about what you just ate. It's very cool. You can leave that. Thank you very much. You're going to head over then down to the front to the fish, and you're going to the Sea Pavilion. Okay, Mr. Drew, don't forget to give us a like before you leave. If you had fun, if you learned anything. But we're going to go to Turtle Talk, which is so much fun for the kids. The kids sit in front and they get to do their show. The adults sit in the back and they get to do theirs. And then you can go out and go into the Finding Nemo ride, which is, it's not my favorite, but kids seem to really like it a lot. So I would recommend that. And then you're going to get a fast pass for Spaceship Earth, and that'll be around noon. At this point, things are starting to get a little hotter, a little crazier. So I'm going to recommend, if your kids are still up for exploring, do Mission Space Green. That one doesn't go upstairs. They get to fly around the world again, but this time in a spaceship. They all get a job, and it's set up for 4 people, but it won't flip them upside down. And because you're doing the green version, the line won't be too long. Thank you very much, sir. Yep. You got another day and a half to go with. Then we're going to go to, once we've hit that, then you're hitting that break time where the kids need some downtime. So we're going to head over to the boardwalk, and we're going to do lunch over at Beaches and Cream. And Beaches and Cream is an ice cream parlor. They've got, you know, sandwiches and grilled cheese sandwiches and basic sandwiches, but as well. But then you can get sundaes. Now, if you guys have huge appetites, you could always, for dessert, get the kitchen sink, which is a literal kitchen sink filled with 10 scoops of ice cream, I think, and every topping they offer, and an entire can of whipped cream. Kind of crazy, but it's a lot of fun. But then at the boardwalk, you can kind of wander in the boardwalk. There are places to sit or be quiet. You can go inside the boardwalk lobby and see the carousel horse if it's still there, but have some quiet time in that space as well and chill and relax. Then at about 4 o'clock, once the worst of the heat has started to come down, you're going to walk back or boat back from there to the Imagination Pavilion, and you're going to go see Figment. And if you want some more quiet time, you could go see the Pixar movies, because those are a lot of fun. Then you've got the countries, because you've really done most of what's up front, unless they want to do a meet and greet with, say, Inside Out characters, Joy and Sadness or Baymax. You've already met most of the characters, the Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy. So if you want to do them again, you can, but it's not necessary at all. So if you do want to do, once you do that, then I'm going to recommend we start the country game. So if you have a cell phone that has a charge, Phineas and Ferb, I believe it is, they have the this game that you can play where this duck is helping you answer questions and try to find your way and find where certain things have been stolen or hidden. And there are interactive spots throughout all of the park, all the different countries. So you can go to Japan and here, let's play it in Japan. And then you'll figure out clues. And it takes you to different places you might not have gone to within those areas. It's a lot of fun. You can play it as adults, but you can also play it with kids. And it allows the kids to have something to do while you might be getting an adult beverage, or you might grab a snack at one of the countries, or you might want to do some shopping. But you guys can kind of work together and you start to slowly explore the different countries. Words of note. Every other country has a bathroom. So if you're in Germany and it has a bathroom, well, the only exception to that is America. America has a bathroom on each side. And then you go to Italy or Morocco, they don't have bathroom. No, Japan, that doesn't have a bathroom. Then you go to Morocco, that does have a bathroom, and you go to Germany, that does have a bathroom. So it's spaced out so that every other country there is a bathroom, so you know you're not too far away from one at any point. You're also only 20 steps away from a trash can at any given moment. All right, so you're going to do the country game, and at about 8 o'clock, and you can snack around while you're there, so that you're not too hungry. But at 8 o'clock, I'm going to recommend you get a dinner reservation. And at this point, I'm going to say you start walking through Canada, and I'm going to recommend that you eat at the Mexican Pavilion on the water. Now, if you want to do quick service, you could go and get the quick service. But if you'd like to sit down and have some chill time inside, especially if it's hot, I'm going to recommend you eat at the Hacienda San Angel, which is the one outside. And it's got these beautiful windows. Wait for a table fireworks view. And then sit down, start having your dinner. And at 9 o'clock, when the fireworks go off and you're still eating your dinner, you can watch the fireworks. The music is piped in and you guys are sitting down in air conditioning and enjoying yourself. So you can have that magic without being out in the crazy. And then it comes to your last day, which is always sad. Now, I am making the assumption that you're not going to wait and do the 11 o'clock flight or the 9 o'clock flights like I do when I'm flying home because you got kids. So I'm going to guess that you're going to do at latest, if you pushed it as hard as you could, is to a 6 or 7 o'clock flight. So you're going to get up in the morning. I know you're going to have packing. You're going to have to take your luggage to somewhere, either into your rental car or over into the concierge type station where they can hold your bags for you during the day if you're staying on property. And we're going to head over to the Polynesian and we're going to go to Kona Cafe for breakfast. And I'm going to say, don't kill yourself on trying to make the earliest seating. Do it as early as you think you realistically can. They make some macadamia nut pancakes that have pineapple on them, I believe. They're supposed to be amazing. They do all kinds of really wonderful and fun, creative breakfast foods. So I'm going to say that's a nice, fun breakfast for you to have. Now, if you want to do characters, again, you can go to Ohana and you can meet Lilo and Stitch. And that's in the same complex. But then you'll have done 4 breakfast buffets, and that's a lot. So, yeah, I'm going to say you want to go ahead and do that and enjoy that. Then after that, you're going to head over to Magic Kingdom. You can take the monorail around to Magic Kingdom using that loop. There, I'm going to say that if you haven't done it already, you go to Peter Pan. You're going to get a fast pass for the PhilharMagic, which is a lot of fun, and it's another sit down. And then if you haven't done the Haunted Mansion, this is the time you would do that. This is where you pick up all those rides you've missed. Or if there's something you really loved and you want to try it again, this is where you'll try to grab that fast pass again and do something again. Now, if one of them wants to do the Haunted Mansion and another one's too scared to do the Haunted Mansion, then my recommendation, if you're willing to, one of you is willing to step out of that, is to go over to the, they call it the Tangled Toilets, the bathroom rest area near where it's set up to look like Tangled. And it's in between the end of Fantasyland and the beginning of Liberty Square. And there they have a Find Pascal game. And all scattered throughout are, is it 11? It's either 7 or 11 Pascals hiding. And since Pascal is a chameleon, he's matching the colors he's with. So you basically have to hunt around and find him. Now, there are some cheat sites on the web to help you find where they are. And some of them are challenging, and they are everywhere. They're from the side where the bathrooms are, all the way across the road, in the nature area in between. You've got all kinds of options of where this stuff is. So just be aware that you never know where you're going to find them, and just have some fun playing with that. And that's a nice kind of down key, look around, chill thing to do. And that way you're not bored while you're looking. Once you finish that, I'm going to say it's around 1 o'clock. If you guys are hungry at that point, head over to Pecos Bill in Frontierland. They do tacos and Mexican food and nachos and things like that. And they do both platters and like the tacos themselves. They do a really good fixins bar. I found out the guacamole is now not automatically included, which made me very sad because that was yummy. But go ahead and enjoy a kind of a fast lunch there. And then you've got, all right, so if you were taking the Magical Express, they usually make you leave at about 3 hours before your flight. So if your flight's at 7, you're going to have to be on the bus leaving at 4. And if that's the case and you're on the bus leaving at 4, then you need to be leaving the parks by 3. So if you're having lunch at 1, you have a chance for one more fast pass. And then it's about an hour to an hour and a half to get back, to get your bags out of hock from the concierge, whatever you need to do. An hour to an hour and a half, so you don't find yourself rushed, especially if your bus tends to be one of like your multiple stops back in on a loop of stuff. And then you're going to have to get on your plane, and there will be sadness and tears, but you have that one last monorail. When you get to the airport, get out of your Magical Express or take your car to the rental and roll your stuff across and check your bags. And then you get to take your monorail to whichever terminal. And again, doing Southwest usually for me, you get to take that one over to the side. Realize that there's a lot of people going in and out of that airport, and they're giving you that 3 hours so that you have time to go through security. There is a Disney store in the airport there before you go through security, which is a lot of fun to get, your last minute souvenirs and things. Once you get, at least on the Southwest side, there's still a little bit of shopping and stuff that you can do, or there's some food places there if you want to wait and do dinner there and get more park time and stuff. But that's sort of my loosely organized game plan, realizing that all of this is flexible. It can change at the drop of a hat. You just don't know. But that's what I would do with that group. So if there's something you would like me to talk about, a type of group you would like me to plan for next time, please go ahead and let me know. If you've learned something from this, go ahead and put a comment at the bottom. Remember that you can look at what the live chat comments were, but the comments you want to do are below. If you're on the phone, you're going to see all of the other the comments that have come through and recommendations for in the videos, and then the comment section is below. Or if you are watching it on your phone, the comment section is here on the live chat. The live chat's over there. The comment section is below. And go ahead and leave a comment there. Please let me know what you like, what you don't like. If I can answer questions or provide you with suggestions for another type of trip. Some of the prior ones I've done are for foodies or for the thrill ride seekers or for the people that don't want to go near any darn rides at all. So, let me know, because my content really is going to come out of what you guys give me and what you guys want to hear, because, that's why I'm doing it. I will be heading to the parks in the middle of June. So I'm hoping to get some more traditional vlogging footage at that point. With some new people traveling. It won't be a Drew traveling with me, but it'll be some other fun people traveling along. So I hope you all have a great evening. I hope that you learn something from this. You get some good information out of it. And we'll talk next time, all right? Have a great night, guys.